Greetings, Patrick here. Have Cheetah Wheel View here on a cold, rainy, miserable Saturday. Started out really pretty, real bright and sunny, and next thing you know, we look over and we're getting pounded with some rain. We are here for another BayView Entertainment review. That's right. We have already gotten into our little stack of BayView goodies that I showed off on our last Tuesday's video, our unboxing. We got sent four brand new films for our good friend Peter Castro over at BayView Entertainment. And what better way to spend a Saturday than to go back and take a look at a fun documentary? It's the one the movies that we get to watch and review. Peter is very gracious enough to let us have the run of the library, of the BayView Entertainment library. We can pick and choose what we want to watch. And so one of the movies that I got to pick, and again, thank you, Peter. One of the movies that I picked out, and I've been really impressed with the amount of quality documentaries that BayView has put out. I've already done some of the reviews. I've done a dog documentary, and I did one for cats, and really enjoyed them very much. And as soon as I saw this, looking back at me on the BayView Entertainment website, I knew this was going to be one that I was going to have to watch. And the movie we'll be talking about today is Spine Tingler, the William Castle story. So now, one of the cool things about documentaries are they're evergreen in a sense. William Castle, he was a producer and a director, and it all depends who you talk to. Talk to me, he's a genius. He's a genius. Talk to others, he could see him as being a schlock director. Other people could see him as being a B movie director, or just all horror director. And however you see him, the only thing I would tell you right now is I would not call him a schlock director at all. He was actually pretty bloody brilliant in the way he got his movies promoted, and how well they did at the box office. So this documentary itself, and I knew this was going to be an older documentary because I know a lot of the people on here have already passed away. This came out in 2007, but honest to heaven, when I watched it, I didn't know that. The only way I would know that is because, like, some of the people they interview for this show, I know have already passed on, including Stuart Gordon, and but everything here was just absolutely fresh to me, and it will be to you as well. Basically, they walked through William Castle's career. He directed 66 movies. He produced 25 more, including one I bet nobody remembers that he did this, because this was new to me, and I've never heard anybody, not one person in the 4 years that I've been on the tube, going to be 4 years on the tube, I have never heard one person mention this in the review of Rosemary's Baby, is that William Castle produced it. He produced Rosemary's, and the story is that he bought the rights to the book before Ira Levine had even had it published. He heard about the story, he loved it, he got a hold of it way before anybody else did. In fact, when his own studio found out that he had bought the property, because when it came out to acclaim, studios went to secure the rights. And here it is on Columbia, and they went to go get the rights for it, and they couldn't because their own man had already beaten them to it. And that did not make Robert Evans, the head of Columbia, who William Castle worked with, make him very happy. And of course, Robert Evans got his way back a little bit when he insisted that Roman Polanski directed the movie, because William Castle wanted to produce and direct it. I don't know how it would have come out with William Castle directing it. Honestly, I don't. I do think probably looking back at it, was probably the right call in letting Roman Polanski direct the movie. But of course, Roman Polanski was, he was, he was just a ball of fire, and he went over budget. He went over time of shooting. William Castle had to run interference between him and the studios. Like, yes, the movie's not done on time because he had a 55-day window, and it's not done on time. He's over budget. These are all new to William Castle to have to deal with, because there's one thing that William Castle knew how to do, and that is film a movie and get it under budget. And he was always like that for his entire career when he was a director and a producer. This was one of the first two major movies that we find out that William Castle had a hand in. The Lady from Shanghai. He had also developed that property, and he had actually went to Orson Welles to ask Orson Welles to help him get the movie made. When Orson Welles just basically took the movie, didn't tell him that he was going to go meet with the studio people, and next thing you know, he's got the whole movie. He's going to direct the movie. He's going to and that's the movie that William Castle wanted to do, because he felt like it would break him from doing low budget films into major filmmaking. So it was sort of screwed up what Orson Welles did to him, and quite honestly, I guess I'm not too surprised, because Hollywood can be a little bit of a bloodbath sometimes. But this story, it does go back to and covers Castle's story. It covers all the fun movies that he did. The Tingler. Of course, we had the Tingler. We had a Homicidal, which was a very interesting take on the Psycho story. Of course, he did House on a Haunted Hill. He did, 13 Ghosts. And one of the things that he did, what he was really most famous for, is he always came up with gimmicks for his movies. Whether you the audience got to pick the ending of the movie. If you got too scared in Homicidal, if you got too scared, the little clock would come on the screen, and then you could leave and get your money back. And it shows how he when he mentioned that, I thought he was going to do that. When he was going to do that, how the studio heads were going like, "You're going to what?" He says, "Yeah, we're gonna give the audience money. We're going to give their money back if they're too scared to see the movie. But they're not going to be, because everybody wants to see the movie. Everyone's going to want to see the end." And so the premiere night, they're sitting there watching it with studio heads, and sure enough, here comes at the right mark where, they expected a couple of people to do it, but the studio en masse stood up and left to go get their money back. And Castle was absolutely astounded, until the theater person came up there and says, "Well, that's the 6 o'clock showing. They already watched the movie once, but they stayed to watch the 8 o'clock show so they can get their money back." So he didn't quite account on that. So, but he fought back. He changed the ticket colors. So if you bought the 6 o'clock showing, you're getting a green ticket. If you're getting the 8 o'clock show, you're getting a blue ticket. And then if you do want to get up there and get your money back, you can. But then you had to enter what they called the coward's corner. And then if you had to sit there and wait before you got your money back. You had to sit in the coward's corner, and you didn't get your money back until everybody came out of the theater and saw your ass sitting over there in this little booth called that coward's corner, because you were too chicken to stay for the whole movie. So, needless to say, not too many people wanted their money back facing that, and can't blame him for it. Of course, he did the Tingler and so many cool and classic films that William Castle, doesn't get enough credit for. Mr. Sardonius. He worked with Vincent Price on a lot of movies. He even endured working on a movie called Straight Jacket with Joan Crawford, where he fanboyed out working with her, but he got the movie made. And it did well. It helped Joan Crawford out when she needed a hit. That was during what they called the Hag era. That's a really disrespectful term to use that. some of the older actresses like Joan Crawford or Betty Davis or what have you, they're past their prime as far as leading ladies go, but they still are good actors. And a lot of them were forced to take a lot of movies that normally they wouldn't. Joan Crawford being one of them. Of course, it didn't help that some of the actresses, they didn't recognize the fact that those days were gone and now they were character actresses. That's just you know, you're here to help move a next generation of actors forward. And she didn't recognize that. So we see at the castle, and the way that through everybody's has anecdotes and memories to share in the documentary. You see people such as Leonard Maltin, Terry Castle, his daughter, um, a lot of major filmmakers, a lot of like John Waters, Forrest J. Ackerman. He comments. A lot of friends. All had nothing but respect and kindness for William Castle. They, of course, some of his gimmicks. You look at them now, it's like maybe they were silly, but you know what? If you go dig a little deeper, you'll see that those movies that we laugh at, they all made money. They all made money. Uh, so I really enjoyed this documentary. I was I was actually sort of shocked to see how young he died. He was only 63 when he passed, but he aged early. That I will say. They comment about that. He was hard driven. He drove hard. He didn't take the best care of himself. He wanted to see. He saw himself like a little bit like Alfred Hitchcock, which is one of the reasons why he was always known for having a cigar. He wanted that. He wanted to be sort of seen like Alfred Hitchcock, and really those two are the two filmmakers that do compare the most. And yes, Hitchcock has a much wider known and probably a lot more respected library, a body of work than William Castle, but William Castle was not as far as behind Hitchcock as far as being a filmmaker as one would think. Um, it makes you wonder what would have happened if he actually would have been given a chance to direct some more heavy hitting films. I think that William Castle could have done that, um, but a lot of people who knew William Castle commented how he was scared. He was almost too scared to fail. Like he was just like, okay, I want to be daring. I want to do this movie. I want to do it this way. But then he'd get cold feet about it. He'd be like, I'm just gonna go back to my old ways. And when those days passed, he struggled. He struggled mightily after Rosemary's Baby to come up with anything after that. Um, but he has left us and the people behind someone like myself, he's left us a body of work. And I do hope that young people will go out there and look for William Castle's movies. Go to his IMDb page and go down there, scroll down there, and start watching. Start immersing yourself in his work. He was a fine director and a showman and a huckster and a carny, but he made a hell of a lot of fun movies, which is a lot more than you can say about a lot of people's today's movies. They make good movies, they make bad movies, but do they make fun movies? And that I think that really is missing in today's Hollywood films. There's so much pressure to come out with an instant hit. You either hit or you don't, and it's like you don't really hear a lot of people just sit there and say, this movie was absolutely just a hoot, just an absolute blast. Uh, and we need more of that. All right. Spying Tingler is about an hour and a half long. It's rated PG. Hell, you can even say rated G. It has special features on it. It has two sets of director's commentaries. It also has an hour's worth of William Castle speaking as well. You can check that out while you're watching the film. Um, Highly recommend this. and you can get this at BayView Entertainment. I'll be putting the description box down below, and I'm going to be putting the link to William Castle's IMDb page as well, so you can click on that and go take a look at the man's body of work. I'm sure there's probably some William Castle movies on YouTube. I will look for some public domain ones. If I find them, I'll drop them down as well, so you can go ahead and take a look at that. Remember, he did a lot of movies that we revere today, like 13 Ghosts. I mean, he did that movie before, he also produced a fantastic movie that's completely underrated, which I didn't know about, that it opened on the same day as Jaws, but that's a movie called Bug. That movie is, dare I say it, bugging. It's a great movie. Scared the shit out of me too. All right, so this is it. This is it. You can get this from BayView Entertainment. Spine Tingler, the William Castle story. Highly recommend it. Go ahead and buy it, watch it, review it, share it. Thanks for watching for my 2 cents about this movie, this documentary. I appreciate it. And once again, thanks to our good friends Peter over at BayView Entertainment for hooking us up. All right, have a great day. And drop a comment, hit the thumbs up button, and hit the sub button if you're new to the channel. Peace.